I recently did a pistol course which was pretty unique. At the beginning of the course, everyone had to turn the weapon of their choice over to the instructor, and then you were issued a weapon by the instructor to run through the course with. Now this was a moving course, kind of like a shoot house, but a little different. Anyhow, about halfway through the course, you transition back to your weapon of choice, the one that you had previously given the instructor. The kind of cool thing about it is like with this particular firearm here, this Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm, when I gave it to the instructor and then I found it later on the course, what he had done is he had switched the magazine release on it. So a gun that was familiar to me when I found it turned out to be a little unfamiliar, and I had to be able to operate this firearm through the rest of the course with that magazine release switched. Not a huge deal, but kind of a unique little twist on a shooting course, and again, using the premise that you never know what type of firearm you may come across in a combat situation. Anyhow, this video is not about that. That's a video for another time. This video is about switching this back and how easy it is and why that instructor was able to do it so easily upon me giving it to him. So let's get started. I'm not a big fan of the way that the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 breaks down, but we'll walk through it together. The first thing we need to do is remove the magazine. That's out. We'll move on. Okay, with that removed, there's this small tool that comes with the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 down here at the bottom of the grip. You have to turn this sideways. At least this is the recommended way to do this. You turn that sideways like that, and then you simply pull this out. This is used to flip down a lever inside of the slide to remove the slide from the weapon. A little complicated. You kind of got to be careful here too, or your grip will come off because it's now loose, because that tool is actually the pin that holds that in place. Anyway, we'll flip the firearm over, and obviously you have to set it back into slide lock. Turn that around like that for you. Flip this lever down, and then inside, if I can get the light just right in there, there's that small lever you flip forward with this handy dandy little tool, which I really don't like. And with that flip forward, now when the slide goes forward, you release it, the slide comes right off the weapon. Again, that's not what this is about. This is about swapping over this little thing here. Okay, our mission here is to swap over the magazine release. Now the way that that is accomplished is down inside, hopefully with the lighting you can see that, there is a bar spring that moves from the bottom up towards the top of the grip. Okay? You need to reach inside. You could use this thing, but it's pretty useless. I just use my finger. You reach inside, move it slightly, and then pull it back. I'm going to see if I can get a close-up for you. You can see that bar spring will be right here in the front. So what you do is you reach inside, move it sideways, and then pull it back, and then now you should definitely be able to see that bar spring in there is out. It's sitting outside of the groove that holds the magazine release in place. So with that pulled back towards the rear of the weapon, you should be able to slide the magazine release right out. So we reach down in there, pull it to the side, the magazine release slides right out. Very simple. And you can actually see that bar now through that hole where it would sit normally in this little locking groove. Okay? So now to put this back in for a right-handed shooter, we just reverse the process because I'm going to want it on this side of the firearm now. So, very simply, we reach in, pull that little spring out of the way. We insert this little guy, magazine release, from this side in, as you can see now. It's right there. And then you can feel, again, show you the inside. You can see that bar spring down there. You just got to slide that back into the groove on the magazine release. So reach down inside there, slide it over, clip it into space, just like that. Hopefully you can see that now. And now we just got to reverse all of our processes, okay? Because it's done, just that easy. Let's put the slide back on the weapon. That's back in place. Put our little useless Smith & Wesson tool back in here. When you put the slide back on, typically that'll reset the little lever there that folds down to take the slide off. So when you slide that back on, it'll reset that. Typically, double check that and make sure, because I'm not going to be responsible for your carelessness. Okay, anyhow, that's it. We put the magazine back in, and now, as you can see, that's where it was when the instructor swapped it over. Now it's back on the other side, right there. Better for a right-handed shooter. Now again, you can manipulate the weapon with the magazine release on the left-hand side, and I recommend that you practice with that. Again, I thought that was a kind of a cool course that the instructor, or kind of a cool little thing that the instructor did on that course, so it is what it is. Anyhow, that's how you would swap back the magazine release on a Smith & Wesson M&P 9. I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, the video's over. Get back to work. You've got stuff to do. You don't need to be hanging around here. But before you go, hey, how about hitting that thumbs up button? Or commenting below. I'd appreciate it.